Hello to all of my gold diggers out there. This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. And today I am coming to you to talk to you about my six-figure student loan debt. Yes, and I did say six figures. Six figures of debt. It is just crazy, the amount of debt, of student loan debt that I have. And that is not even all of my total debt. It's just crazy. I'll have to come to you with another video about my total debt, but the student loan debt is definitely a large majority of my debt. I do have some business debt as well with me opening up my own business. So like I said, this doesn't even encompass my whole debt. So just as I'm telling my story, just think this is just a little teeny, I won't even say teeny, this is just a little piece of the pie, but I still got some stuff to do. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I went to undergrad, had about a little under $20,000 worth of student loan debt from undergrad to get my 4-year degree. When I was going to college, I don't know if this was y'all's thinking or if this was just me or during the time that I was coming up, student loan debt wasn't really looked at, like it was some bad thing. Like I didn't think anything of it. I just thought that was something you had to do or you were likely going to do in order to go through school. Now I did get a scholarship, or I did have some scholarships when I was in undergrad, but undergrad kind of kicked my butt and I lost my scholarships my after my first year, and I worked really hard to get my GPA back up or whatever, when I graduated or whatever. But yeah, after the first year, I definitely had some student loans. Now I wasn't getting refund checks and stuff like that like some people, but yeah, I had student loans, and I went to an in-state college and that kind of thing, and I still came out with about $20,000 worth of debt. I'm looking at my numbers to see the exact amount. I think when I consolidated my undergraduate debts, and at the time I consolidated, the amount was like 17,000. So there we have that. But like I said, I have six figures worth of debt. So you're probably wondering, like, where did these six figures come from? So I am an optometrist. I went to optometry school, and that is where the large majority of my debt came from. Now, same thing. It was like, in order to go to this school, in order to get a good paying job or be in a good career or a good profession, I didn't think anything of taking out student loans. I just thought that was like part of the process. Like, this is just what you have to do if you want to get in these kinds of positions or whatever, and if your family does not have the means to kind of pay for your tuition and for your schooling. Now I will say, for for optometry school, yes, I did get refund checks and things like that, and I usually would put it in a CD or a high yield savings account or something like that, just as kind of like an emergency fund, or just because I didn't know what would happen. Because I actually, when I was in optometry school, I actually had both of my kids in optometry school, so part of that contributed to some of my student loan debt and some of my ignorance surrounding it. Like I don't even, when you're taking out those student loans, you are young, and I hate to say it, dumb, because I really didn't know. Like, I really didn't wrap my head around what I was doing or just the full impact of it. So let me just back up a little bit. So I remember in undergrad, people would say, pay your student loans, like pay the interest on your student loans while you're in school, because, and I didn't really pay any attention to it, because I think most of my loans at the time were subsidized student loans. And the difference between subsidized and subsidized, the government is paying the interest on your loans while you're in school. Unsubsidized loans, the interest is accruing while you're in school. So heads up to people who are on like you're not on that traditional 4-year plan, because I did graduate in 4 years in my undergrad. But if it's taking you 5, 6, 7 years and you have unsubsidized loans, that interest is just building and building and building and building and building from the moment you took that loan out. So just remember that, and that 4-year degree with tuition only being, you know, 10,000 a year. But if you took that loan out in your first year, you could very well owe $15,000 on something that was only $10,000 if you're not paying that interest. And that's why I say I didn't fully understand it. Like, I heard that, but I just didn't pay attention. So a lot of my unsubsidized loans did come from when I was in optometry school, and you would think I would take the refund check and pay the interest on it or whatever, but no, I didn't. And like I said, part of it was because I was saving, because I did have a family and I was married and that kind of thing. But I was like, I'm gonna be balling. I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna make, you know, X amount of money, like 100K a year. I can easily. Now, this is how, when I say I was young and dumb, this is my mindset. I'm like, I'm gonna make 100K a year. If I owe $200,000 worth of loans, I'll have that paid off in 2 years. Like, girl, what you gonna live off on if you trying to pay 100K off each year, and you owe 200? Like, that's what I say. But anyway, so words of advice, as y'all know, with my channel, I try to share with you so you can learn from my mistakes. So let's see the total amount of debt, student loan debt I have. So because this is where I did my research, or I was gathering information to prepare for this particular video, and I started getting ticked off. I was like so upset. I had to take a moment before I could even, you know, like do this video. So my total loan amount was $200,151.90. So yes, 200K is what I owed. Now, mind you, I have been out of school for 11 years now. I graduated in 2010. So I've been out of school for 10 years, going on 11 years or whatever. Now, there were periods of the loans being in forbearance recently, with me having to open up my own business, and this is outside of the you know, the government forbearance and all that kind of stuff too. But when I had my first child, I took a year off from school, and you know, you have that little deferment period. I don't know if it was because it was private loans or whatever, but that year I took off, it ate into that deferment period. So those kind of loans, as soon as I graduated or whatever, they were due. I had no little grace period or anything. And I don't know, looking back on the whole thing was shady of how I had to do stuff. Like, I was pretty much forced to take a year off. I'm not even gonna get into that. But yeah, I don't remember being educated, counseled, or anything like that about this. So keep in mind, there were periods of time where these loans were in forbearance. Loans were in like a deferment. And with my private loans, you know, it works a little bit differently. So I told you my original amount is $200,000. Now, I told you I've been out of school for about 10 years. I have made a total payment amount of $229,330.63. Yay to me, right? Nah, dog. This don't mean nothing, because guess what? This is what I was calculating today to prepare for the video. My remaining balance is $146,546.86. Yes, $146,546.86. Houseway. Like, I paid $129,000. You know why? You know, houseway? That's that interest, boo. That's that interest. That gets you. And I have paid off 5 loans during that time period. Now, the loans amounted to $13,184.16. You would think they would take that other $113,000 that I paid, and you would think I would have more than 5 daggone loans paid off. And I have a total of 11 loans still remaining or whatever. But yeah. Yes. Now, if I had the money to pay off all of this stuff, all of this today, if I had that $146,546.86 to pay off these loans at this very moment today, I would have paid $275,000, $275,877.49. And I say paid off today because that interest is still going to be accruing. Like my federal loans, yes, they are in deferment. My private loans, which I still owe about $13,000 more on, and I talked about in another video, I am trying to get those paid off because they are in a forbearance, but some of them are still accumulating interest, and I have to make the interest payments and stuff on that. But yes, $275,000, and I only took out $200K. So that's extra 75,000, and that's if I had that 146 to pay today. And like some of my loan payoff dates, they're like 2035, 2041. Like I'm gonna be like in my 60s trying to pay these daggone loans off. Like that is that is not cool. That is not cool. So my advice to you will be to pay off your loans as quickly and as soon as expeditiously as possible. It is just mind-boggling the amounts I would have paid. Like I said, that interest is a beast. That interest is brutal. It's brutal. It's kind of like, you know, have y'all seen, it's like a video or something on social media or whatever, and it's like this parent that's trying to help their child do math, and it's like, if Johnny has 5 apples and he lets Sarah have 2 apples, how many apples does Johnny have? And your kid say something crazy like 7, and the mama get mad and she starts saying it again. If Johnny had 5 apples and he let Sarah have 2, how many apples does Johnny have? And he say something crazy again. At this point, this is how I feel about them daggone student loans. I'm like, if the federal government had $500,000 and they let me borrow $200,000, how much money is the federal government gonna have? At this rate, they probably will have like $700,000. So don't get mad at your baby because they're doing that new math, because they actually got the right answer if they're dealing with interest. Because Sarah gonna owe him them 2 apples plus interest. That's how I feel looking at these student loans. Like when I was doing the calculations, I was like, make it make sense. Like this is crazy. Like trying to figure this out. I'm like, if I had, like literally, I'm like, if I had $200,000 worth of student loans and I paid off almost $130,000 worth of student loans, how much do I have to left to pay off? My thinking is $70,000, right? No, boo-boo. You got $146,000 left to pay off. Twice the amount. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. All right. So, yes, that is my 6 figures worth of debt. Whether or not the government is going to forgive it. But actually, before I did these calculations, you know, I was all for, I'm for if they're willing to forgive it. I thought that I doubt they would do $50,000. I was like, they probably would do $10,000. But at the rate I'm going, if they decide to do $50,000, I am going to take it and run with it, because I done more than paid, or just about more than paid these people, or will more than pay these people their money plus some. Like I'm probably gonna pay it 2 times over, $200K 2 times over. Like this is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I will talk with you in another video about whether or not I feel like optometry school was worth it, or, you know, going to college is worth it, all that kind of stuff. I'll talk about that in another video, because right now, this too much. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. All right, so let me know in the comments, are you also on a debt-free journey? Are you also trying to pay off your student loans? Are you also trying to do that new math that this government is doing with this interest and all this kind of stuff? Do you still owe them all this money? Like, I done paid almost out, because what blew my mind was how much I had paid. Because I was making payments, you know, when they weren't in forbearance and all that kind of stuff. Like, I done made good payments. I didn't know I paid that much. So, because I'm looking at what I owed, I'm like, I didn't realize I paid that much and I still owe this. Like, that's a house. I don't pay the house and I still owe another house. Like, this is crazy. But anyway, that's all I have for today. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos from me, and let me know in the comment section how you're dealing with your student loan debts. How are you going about tackling them? I'm starting my debt-free journey. I need all the help, all the advice, all the prayers. Y'all pray for me. Pray they lose my loan documents and forgive this student loan. Whatever. Pray whatever to help me out. All right. This is your girl, Rita, also known as the Gold Digger. Take care, everyone.